You walk into any hardware store. $5 gets you a roll of black duct tape, $10 buys you a can of hairspray, $15 total. That's what it took to blind a $100 million vault protected by 10 layers of security in the heart of the world's diamond capital. February 16, 2003, Antwerp, Belgium. 109 safe deposit boxes cracked open. Diamonds, gold, jewelry, cash scattered across a vault floor 2 stories underground. No alarms, no guards rushing in. Just silence until Monday morning when the security officer punched his code and found the steel door already open. The infrared sensors saw nothing. The motion detectors registered calm. The magnetic field held steady. Every system reported secure while 5 men worked through the night with hand tools and tape. This is the story of how cheap tape and household spray defeated Doppler radar seismic sensors and military-grade locks in what investigators still call the heist of the century. At the center sits the Antwerp Diamond Center at 911 Schupstraat. 2 floors below street level lies the Vault, 3-ton steel door, combination lock with 100 million possible sequences, dual key system, magnetic field alarm between 2 plates that triggers if the connection breaks, infrared heat detectors scanning for body warmth, motion sensors calibrated to catch the smallest movement, seismic sensor listening for drilling or tunneling, Doppler radar measuring air displacement, light sensors monitoring the vault's illumination, 10 separate systems all feeding data to a central control room. The building itself wrapped in rolling metal barriers after hours. Private security force on weekdays. The vault held 160 safe deposit boxes where diamond traders stored merchandise between deals. Each box required a unique key plus a 3-letter combination. Insurance investigators called the surrounding area the Secure Antwerp Diamond Area. This wasn't just a vault, this was a fortress, inside one of Europe's most guarded commercial zones. Been stealing since age 8 when he robbed the milkman. Graduated to tracking jewelry salesmen across Italy. By his 30s, he assembled crews in Turin. Lockpickers, alarm specialists, safecrackers, tunnel experts. They called themselves the School of Turin. No hierarchy, no formal structure, just smart, patient, greedy men with complementary skills. They hit jewelers and workshops across northern Italy. Notar Bartolo would pose as a merchant, get invited in, buy a few stones as tokens, then return weeks later and empty the stock. He traveled to Antwerp twice monthly to sell stolen goods for cash. He knew the district. He knew the players. He knew opportunity when he saw it. $700 per month for a sparsely furnished office on an upper floor. The rental includes 3 things that matter: badge access 24 hours, elevator privileges, the right to rent a safe deposit box in the vault beneath his feet. He poses as a multilingual gem importer from Italy, schedules meetings with established dealers, purchases small amounts to build credibility, becomes a familiar, trusted face in the building's corridors. Staff accept him. Security guards recognize him. He's just another merchant in a building full of merchants. Nobody questions. The quiet Italian who shows up regularly, keeps to himself, conducts modest business. 18 months of preparation begin. Not preparation for violence, preparation for invisibility. If you value documented heist history and security system analysis like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual using sources from the Netflix documentary Stolen Heist of the Century, released August 8, 2025, and drawing from the investigative book Flawless, Inside the Largest Diamond Heist in History by Scott Andrew. Selby and Greg Campbell, published 2010, which includes direct interviews with Belgian Diamond Squad detectives Ajim de Breker and Patrick Pays, who worked the case plus courtroom testimony and forensic evidence from the 2005 Antwerp trial. Now back to the information. Real name Pietro Tavano, according to Belgian police. Childhood friend of Notar Bartolo. Anxious, paranoid type. Notar Bartolo considers him a liability but needs him for coordination. The monster, Ferdinando Finotto. Tall, muscular, expert lockpicker electrician. Mechanic driver. Physical strength paired with technical skill. 6 years earlier, in 1997, Finotto tried robbing a diamond center vault by posing as a merchant. Failed. Got caught. Served time. Knows the building's layout intimately. The genius, Elio Denorio, alarm specialist, connected to a series of European bank robberies through police databases. Understands circuitry sensors, trigger mechanisms. Can strip wire shunt circuits, bypass electronic barriers. The king of keys. Identity unknown to this day. Older man. One of Europe's best key forgers. Never caught, never identified, never sentenced. Each man brings specific expertise. Together they form a unit designed to defeat every layer between them and the diamonds. Observes which days see heavy foot traffic, which days run quiet. Learns that weekends mean skeleton crews and closed offices. The Valentine's Day, wedding of Peter Mios, the Diamond High Council's Director General, plus the annual Proximus Diamond Games tennis tournament featuring Venus Williams will keep police occupied that specific weekend. February 15-16, 2003. The window opens. Notar Bartolo installs a small camera above the vault door. hidden inside a fire extinguisher, transmits footage to a storage device also concealed in the extinguisher. The camera records guards entering the combination, records the sequence of movements required to open the lock, records the timing of security checks. He visits the vault in disguise multiple times, casual reconnaissance trips. On one visit, he carries a can of women's hairspray, approaches the thermal motion sensor, sprays it. The liquid creates a thin film over the detector lens, temporarily blocks heat signatures. The spray warms as it settles, creating false readings that mask the disruption. Nobody notices. The sensor reads normal. Notarbartolo leaves, the spray dries, a microscopic coating remains, just enough to degrade sensitivity, not enough to trigger maintenance alerts. The vault's magnetic alarm system presents a challenge. 2 metal plates connected by screws. Magnetic field flows between them. Break the connection and the alarm screams. During business hours, when the magnetic field cycles off for authorized access, Notarbartolo returns. He partially unscrews the bottom portion of the securing screws on both plates. Not enough to separate the plates, just enough to loosen them. He applies double-sided adhesive tape between the plates, industrial strength. The tape holds the plates together independently of the screws, reseals the connection. When the magnetic field reactivates, the system reads secure. The plates stay connected through tape, not through the intended mechanism. Nobody checks, nobody suspects. The system reports green. Notarbartolo now has a bypass. During the heist, the crew will insert a custom aluminum plate between the door and the sensor. The plate maintains magnetic continuity when they remove the tape and separate the plates. The alarm thinks the door remains sealed even as it swings open. Notarbartolo claims a mysterious diamond dealer named Alessandro commissioned this replica and hired the crew. Authorities find zero evidence of Alessandro's existence. They believe Notarbartolo orchestrated everything himself and invented Alessandro to deflect blame and suggest insurance fraud. The replica lets them practice in darkness, memorize distances, count steps, learn muscle memory for each movement. The monster rehearses navigating to the ceiling panel in pitch black. The King of Keys practices the exact angle and pressure needed for the hand-cranked drill. They time each phase. 4 to 6 hours estimated for the full operation once inside. They can't afford mistakes, can't afford noise, can't afford light. Uses his badge, takes the elevator to his office, waits. 7 p.m. The vault's automatic steel door closes for the weekend. Magnetic seals engage. Some accounts suggest Notarbartolo stays inside the vault itself as the door seals, letting himself be locked in overnight. Other accounts place him in his office, coordinating from above. Details remain disputed. What's clear is the crew arrives. They don't use the main entrance. They access a nearby rundown office building on Pelikanstraat. A blind spot. No camera coverage. They climb a ladder to a second-floor terrace, cross a private garden that abuts the Diamond Center's rear. Use the fire escape. The King of Keys carries a modified Allen wrench, custom-made to fit a specific door in the basement parking area. He inserts it, turns. The door opens. They're inside. Black clothing, plastic gloves, minimal equipment. Bags for the hall, tools for the locks, tape for the sensors, spray already applied days earlier. They move. The thermal sensor's already filmed with hairspray, but heat still radiates from bodies. The monster positions a polystyrene shield on a broomstick, hangs it in front of the infrared detector. Lightweight styrofoam blocks thermal signatures. Cheap material. Effective barrier. Some accounts describe them moving in slow motion initially to fool motion sensors, crawling to minimize vibration that might trigger the seismic sensor. No power tools near sensitive areas. Hand tools only. Quiet metal on metal. The Doppler radar measures air displacement, and they move deliberately. Small controlled motions. No sudden sweeping gestures. The system's sensitivity calibrated for forceful movements, drilling, or heavy machinery. Careful humans moving like burglars, not like construction workers, stay below the threshold. Notarbartolo has it from the fire extinguisher camera footage. Someone inputs the sequence, the lock clicks. They use a long 2-part 3-dimensional key, custom forged by the King of Keys from measurements and photographs gathered during reconnaissance. The key slides into the mechanism, turns. First barrier defeated. Now the magnetic alarm. The monster removes the ceiling panel he memorized in darkness, reaches up, finds the wires. Strips plastic coating from the security circuit's inbound and outbound wires. Attaches a bypass wire to the exposed copper. Shunts the circuit. Even if sensors trip now, the signal won't reach the alarm panel. The circuit's compromised at the source. He replaces the panel. They insert their custom aluminum plate between the magnetic sensor plates. Remove the double-sided tape Notarbartolo placed days earlier. Separate the plates. The magnetic field measures stable. The door is open, but the system reads closed. Each secured with a key lock and a 3-letter combination dial. The crew has practiced this. The King of Keys uses a hand-cranked drill. Manually powered, no electric motor noise. He positions the bit over each lock mechanism. Cranks, metal grinds. 30 seconds per lock. Another 30 for the combination dial. He cracks box after box. They pull out leather satchels, open them, pour contents into duffel bags. Loose diamonds cascade like sand. gold bars, cash in multiple currencies, rare coins, heirloom jewelry. Some boxes overflow, others contain paperwork and low-value items. They move systematically. 109 boxes opened, 37 remain untouched. Not because of time, because they physically can't carry more weight. Diamonds scatter on the floor. Too many to bag. They take what they can, leave the rest. 4 to 6 hours inside. No alarms, no guards. Just thieves and tape and spray and stolen time. Remove footage showing their faces, their movements, their entries. Replace some tapes with recordings from previous nights. Create a false timeline. Exit through the basement garage using the modified Allen wrench. Back through the private garden. Down the fire escape. Into a car. Ferdinando Finotto drives. Elio Donorio rides. Notar Bartolo follows separately. Pietro Tavano designated as speedy coordinates. They split. Some head to Notar Bartolo's apartment in Antwerp. Others drive straight to Italy. Plan is to reconvene in Milan to divide the loot. The heist itself was flawless. 18 months of planning. Layers of security bypassed with household items and patience. The escape is where everything falls apart. Squeaking shoes on parquet. Routine. He descends to the vault. Inputs the combination. The door is already open. Steel barrier meant to seal wealth standing ajar like a broken promise. He steps inside. Chaos. Diamonds scattered across the floor. Gems and emeralds rolling underfoot. Safe deposit boxes hanging open their doors, twisted their locks, shattered. Cash of various currencies strewn about. Family heirlooms abandoned. Watches lockets, irreplaceable pieces tossed aside as too heavy or too identifiable to steal. He calls it in. Within minutes, the Diamond Squad arrives. Detectives Agam de Bruyker and Patrick Pies lead the investigation. They're the world's only specialized diamond police. Their beat is this 3-block labyrinth where $3 billion in gem sales happen annually, not counting off ledger handshake deals. They stare at the vault. 10 layers of security, every single one defeated. No forced entry on the main door, no explosives, no brute force. Whoever did this understood the systems intimately, used finesse, not violence. The detectives start cataloging. Over 100 boxes breached. Initial estimates put losses above $100 million. Many traders didn't carry insurance because the Diamond Center was considered the safest vault on Earth. Real victims with small businesses now wiped out. The investigation starts with almost no leads, no fingerprints, gloves, no witnesses. Weekend operation, no video footage. Thieves took the tapes, just a ransacked vault and a shattered sense of invincibility. A 59-year-old retired grocer named August Van Camp walks his property, rabbit hunting. He spots trash. Somebody littered on his land. Van Camp is particular about his property, known to police for calling frequently about litterers. He investigates this time because it's substantial. Bags of garbage. He starts sorting through it, looking for identifying information. Finds envelopes stamped Antwerp Diamond Center. Doesn't mean much to him. Trash is trash. He also finds tiny emeralds, dozens of them. A half-eaten salami sandwich, a supermarket receipt, videotape film strung through bushes, a receipt for a video surveillance system, payment stubs. He calls the police, mutters about good-for-nothing kids. Normally, police ignore Van Camp because he calls often. This time, when he mentions Antwerp Diamond Center, they send someone immediately. They're already investigating the heist. This trash is the break they need. Known to police. 6 years earlier, he attempted a Diamond Center vault robbery. Failed. Served time. Now he's back. Among the discarded papers, they find a document identifying Elio Donorio, alarm specialist, authorization for him to perform security work for Leonardo Notar Bartolo. 3 names, 3 members of the crew. Detectives check their databases, all 3 connected to Turin, Italy, the school of Turin. The pattern emerges. They move on Notar Bartolo. February 21, 2003, Friday, 5 days after the heist. Notar Bartolo returns to the Diamond Center. His own safe deposit box was left untouched during the robbery. An obvious tell. He thinks his presence shows innocence. Why would the mastermind come back to the scene? He doesn't know that police already identified him from the sandwich DNA. He doesn't know about Van Camp's trash discovery. He walks into the building. Detectives are waiting. The Diamond Squad arrests him. They search his apartment. Find 17 polished diamonds attached to certificates from the Diamond Center. Find cell phone records showing communication with the other suspects. They raid Ferdinando Finotto's girlfriend's residence. Discover marked $100 bills belonging to Diamond Center vault holders. They arrest Finotto. Arrest Elio Donorio. Arrest Pietro Tavano. All 4 in custody within weeks. The King of Keys vanishes. Never identified, never caught. To this day, his real name remains unknown. Claims they stole only 20 million euros, not 100 million. Suggests insurance fraud. Says many safe deposit boxes were already empty when they opened them. Says Alessandro inflated losses for insurance payout. Authorities investigate. No evidence of Alessandro. No evidence of insider conspiracy. The story doesn't hold. Prosecutors argue Notar Bartolo invented Alessandro to reduce his culpability and cast doubt on victim claims. The diamonds are never recovered. Not in Italy, not in Antwerp, not anywhere. $100 million vanished into the underground market. Some estimate the real total closer to $500 million because many traders kept unregistered inventory in those boxes. No records, no proof, just empty boxes and shattered trust. He never does. 2011, European arrest warrant issued. He violated parole. 2013, January, Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris. Notarbartolo arrested during a layover from the United States to Turin, forced to serve the remainder of his sentence. Released 2017. Now lives in the countryside outside Turin with his wife. Runs a wood pellet business, small factory, quiet life. He has no regrets. In interviews for the Netflix documentary Stolen Heist of the Century, released August 8, 2025, he says, "I've always wanted to be part of something like this. We felt proud of doing something so strong and powerful." Ferdinando Finotto served his 5 years. Elio Donorio served his 5 years. Pietro Tavano served his 5 years. All released. All back in Italy. None lead authorities to the diamonds. The King of Keys remains a ghost. The loot remains missing. Thieves work with lights on inside, and the sensor registers no change because it can't see. Cost of the tape, maybe $3 per roll. Need 2 strips total. 90 cents worth of tape blinds a military-grade optical detection system. The infrared heat detectors scan for thermal signatures. Human bodies radiate warmth. Women's hairspray creates a thin polymer film on the detector lens. The film diffuses heat signatures, scatters infrared readings, degrades sensor accuracy. Notarbartolo sprayed it during a legitimate vault visit days before the heist. The film dried to near invisibility. Security never noticed degraded performance because the system still powered on, still displayed operational status. No alarm, no alert. Cost of hairspray, maybe $6 per can. 2 seconds of spray compromises a system designed to detect body heat from across the room. You pull off the tape, separate the sensor plates. The aluminum maintains field continuity because it's non-ferrous and positioned between the source and the detector. The alarm system measures steady, reads closed, reports secure. The door swings open. Cost of aluminum plate, maybe $10 for a sheet cut to size. Cost of double-sided tape, maybe $4 per roll. $14 defeats a magnetic field alarm that cost thousands. The motion sensors detect movement, but they're calibrated for rapid motion drilling, heavy tools, large displacement. Slow, deliberate movement stays below threshold. The Doppler radar reads air movement, but humans moving carefully don't displace enough air to trigger military-grade settings designed for vehicles or machinery. The seismic sensor listens for vibration, but hand tools operated carefully produce minimal ground transmission, especially when thieves avoid power drills near sensitive zones. Timing the spray application when the vault was legitimately accessed. Pre-positioning the tape when magnetic fields cycled off. Building the aluminum bypass plate to exact dimensions. 18 months of preparation reduced to hours of execution. The sophistication wasn't in exotic technology. The sophistication was in patience and observation, and understanding that expensive systems have exploitable assumptions built into their design. They assume intruders will force entry. They assume intruders will trigger multiple alarms. They assume intruders can't defeat 10 layers simultaneously. The School of Turin proved every assumption wrong. The receipts never link Finotto. The envelope never identifies Donorio. The investigation stalls. The crew vanishes to Italy with the loot. Instead, Van Camp reports trash with emeralds and diamond center envelopes hours after the heist gets discovered. Police process the scene immediately, find enough evidence to build a case within days. Notarbartolo's return to the diamond center seals it. He thinks his presence shows innocence. Detectives think his presence shows arrogance. They arrest him while he's standing in the building he robbed. The School of Turin spent 18 months preparing the heist and 30 minutes carelessly dumping evidence on private property, owned by a man known for reporting litterers. Security designers assumed intruders couldn't rent legitimate office space for years, assumed intruders couldn't blend into daily business, assumed intruders couldn't study systems patiently over 18 months, assumed sensors calibrated for forced entry would catch any intrusion. The School of Turin didn't break the security. They joined it, became part of the environment. Let familiarity breed invisibility. Guards recognized Notarbartolo. Staff trusted him. He had badge access, safe deposit box, rental, legitimate business presence. He wasn't sneaking, he belonged. That's the bypass tape and spray couldn't provide. Tape defeated sensors, spray defeated detectors, but Notarbartolo's 2-year presence defeated suspicion. The greatest security vulnerability wasn't infrared or magnetic fields. The greatest vulnerability was trust. If you value documented security analysis and investigative reporting like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, I comment from which city you're hearing this from. This content draws from Belgian court records examined by Selby and Campbell for their 2010 book Flawless, which includes testimony from Diamond Squad detectives and forensic analysis of the vault penetration methods, plus the August 8, 2000. 25, Netflix documentary Stolen Heist of the Century, featuring interviews with Notarbartolo himself and the detectives who built the case against him. Now back to the story. The real number might approach 500 million. Nobody can prove it. Some victims were wiped out, small businesses gone. The heist becomes a parable about security theater. 10 layers of protection, millions invested in sensors and alarms, defeated by less than $20 in household supplies and 18 months of observation. The vault assumed forced entry. The School of Turin used slow entry and insider access. Antwerp responds with security upgrades, tighter tenant screening, more frequent audits. But the core problem remains. Sophisticated adversaries with time can study any system. The School of Turin proved that human intelligence matters more than sensor technology. They use tape spray and time, simplest methods against complex systems. Netflix releases Stolen Heist of the Century in August 2025. History's Greatest Heists features the story. Den of Thieves. 2 Pantera bases its plot on the heist. Hollywood finds endless fascination in the mechanics. The patient planning. The irony that a half-eaten sandwich and a litter-conscious grocer brought down a crew that defeated 10 layers of security. Long-term reconnaissance defeats static defenses. Sensor calibration must account for patient adversaries. Trust verification needs constant renewal. Multi-layer security only works if each layer has independent monitoring. A sensor reporting operational isn't the same as accurate. Hairspray creates operational status with degraded accuracy. The School of Turin exploited that gap for 18 months. Either they remain hidden or were recut immediately. Recutting destroys certification. A 10-carat stone becomes 5 2-carat stones. Serial numbers vanish. They become anonymous carbon in a market moving millions of carats annually. The loot disperses like smoke. No evidence supports any theory. The diamonds are gone. Later suggests they only took 20 million. In recent interviews speaks with pride, expresses no remorse, never leads authorities to diamonds. In 2016, said his dream is a pack of cigarettes filled with diamonds. Nobody believes him. Nobody can disprove him either. They reduced a 10-layer security system to exploitable components, identified which layers could be defeated with cheap materials, identified which layers required social engineering, identified which layers required insider access. Then, they spent 18 months positioning themselves to execute. The hairspray wasn't brilliant because it's exotic. The hairspray was brilliant because someone thought to test whether optical coatings degrade infrared sensors. The tape wasn't clever because it's expensive. The tape was clever because someone understood that photocells read light presence, not light change. The aluminum plate wasn't innovative because of the material. The aluminum plate was innovative because someone mapped the magnetic field geometry and realized a thin conductor positioned correctly maintains circuit continuity during physical separation. Every bypass came from understanding, not from technology. The crew didn't buy their way past security. They thought their way past it. Never cooperated. That discipline extended through the heist. 4 to 6 hours inside. Methodical. Quiet. No panic until afterward. Speedy's breakdown. The careless dumping. Only Van Camp's litter obsession surfaced the evidence. The alarm assumes the plates must stay physically connected through their mounting hardware. The crew said, what if we connect them through tape instead? Preposition the tape when we have legitimate access. Return during the heist with an aluminum bridge. Remove the tape. Insert the bridge. Separate the plates. The alarm measures field continuity, not physical contact. You can't tell the difference between plates held together by screws and magnetic monitoring versus plates held together by aluminum and physical positioning. The elegant part is timing. They loosened the screws and applied tape during legitimate business hours when the magnetic field cycled off for authorized vault access. Security saw Notarbartolo enter with his badge and safe deposit box rights. Saw him leave. Never suspected he spent 30 seconds loosening screws and applying tape while down there. The vulnerability window lasted seconds. The exploitation lasted months later. By the time they executed the heist, the compromised plates had been sitting there for weeks, passing daily security checks, reporting normal operation, betraying nothing. Most intruders would try to cool their body temperature or wear insulated suits. The School of Turin said, what if we degrade the sensor's ability to read temperature instead of trying to hide temperature? Spray creates a diffusing layer. Heat signatures blur, sensitivity drops. The sensor still functions, still reports operational, just reports with less accuracy. Security personnel see operational status and assume full function. They don't test actual detection capability. Don't send someone into the vault with a heat source to verify the sensor responds correctly. The sensor says green. Green means good, except green means degraded function in this case. The polystyrene shield they used during the heist added a second layer, belt and suspenders. Spray degrades the sensor. Styrofoam blocks body heat. 2 cheap barriers? Two different mechanisms, both simple, both effective. Too thick won't fit. Too thin won't conduct. They got it right. Probably cost less than $10. Defeated a system designed to trigger if circuit breaks. The circuit never broke. Aluminum kept it closed while plates separated. 21,000 to gain access to 100 million returns 4,000-fold. Patient positioning. The best security bypass is becoming trusted. Almost was if not for Van Camp. The district still handles 80% of global rough diamonds. But the heist changed psychology, made vulnerability visible. The School of Turin spent 18 months because 100 million justified it. Extraordinary success undermined by basic failure. That's the formula, not high technology. Smart preparation using simple tools against complex systems. The School of Turin bet designers wouldn't anticipate patient adversaries. That bet paid off. None are talking. They serve time, can't be tried again. Confessing gains nothing. His Floor Dambos Woods property became criminal history because he cared about litter. Without him, the thieves get away. No DNA, no receipts, no direct evidence. The case goes cold. Instead, his diligence gave investigators the break. One grocer's attention countered 5 thieves' preparation. Tested for unique characteristics. Trace evidence gathered. Then filed away. The hairspray can probably never found. Notarbartolo disposed of it after the reconnaissance spray application. The can is generic. Bought from any pharmacy or grocery, no way to trace it, but the concept persists. The idea that a $6 can of hairspray can degrade a military-grade thermal sensor. That knowledge now exists. Security researchers know it. White hat testers know it. Criminals know it. The genie is out, the vulnerability documented. Future vault designs have to account for it, have to add features to detect lens coding, have to implement regular manual verification that sensors actually detect what they're designed to detect. The School of Turin's legacy is forcing security to evolve past operational status checks toward functional verification. The aluminum plate probably also entered evidence. The custom-shaped conductor they used to maintain magnetic field continuity. Measured, photographed, tested, filed. Proof that a simple-shaped piece of metal can defeat a sophisticated magnetic alarm if positioned correctly. That knowledge persists too. The exploit is documented. Other criminals can study it. Security designers have to counter it. Add physical connection verification. Add vibration sensors on the mounting hardware. Add cameras that specifically watch the magnetic sensor plates. Layer redundancy beyond the single magnetic field measurement. Every exploit revealed forces security to adapt. The School of Turin revealed several. Now Vault Security has to account for all of them. 75 million uninsured. 17 polished diamonds found in Notarbartolo's apartment. Marked $100 bills found at Finato's girlfriend's residence. Half-eaten salami sandwich provided DNA match. 4 men arrested. Convicted sentenced. Served time. 1 man never identified. 0 diamonds recovered. $0 recovered. $700 monthly office rent for 30 months. 21,000 total investment. 100 million conservatively taken. 4,760 fold return before arrest. 10 years maximum sentence served by Notarbartolo. 5 years served by the other 3. Released, free. Back in Italy, living quiet lives. No remorse, no cooperation, no diamonds surrendered. The math of crime when you're patient and smart and prepare properly. And when you don't panic and dump trash on a property owned by a man who reports litter. The methods remain studied. The lesson remains clear. Cheap tools beat expensive security when patience beats haste and knowledge beats force. $5 in tape. $10 in spray. 18 months in planning. 100 million in diamonds. $0 recovered. That's the story. That's the reality. That's what happened when a roll of duct tape silenced motion detectors in the world's most secure diamond vault.